Today we had a little bit of a cyberpunk mystery letdown, but I'm glad. I'm glad we got it out of the way because we have more important business in the next 10 days. We got to get ready to go hop on that launch pad. Ready? Let's go. Earlier today, I checked the CardanoCity.io website, and lo and behold, there was a whole bunch of new information. This kind of surprised me because we knew it was delayed until Sunday, the launch of that project, and it hasn't been their previous pattern to give us any information whatsoever. So I was kind of surprised to see a little earlier information. That lasted for some period of time, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like the website was taken back down. So maybe it was a mistake. We don't really know at this point. Things are still a little unclear, but from what I saw, it definitely looks like exactly what we discussed in yesterday's video with maybe a minor twist. When I actually looked at the CardanoCity.io website today while it was up, I'm not even sure how long it was up. I kind of looked at it and I alerted people on Twitter just because I thought people would want to know. And then pretty quickly thereafter, it came back down. So when I was perusing the website, I wasn't thinking that that was going to be my only glance at it. I thought it was just up and they were going to leave it up till Sunday. I didn't know it was coming back down, or I would have taken more careful notes. But what I saw looked very consistent with a conventional art NFT drop. There was mention of the units like we've already seen. You know, these things, apartments, flats, condos, whatever they call them in your neck of the woods. And then there was also mention of digital paintings. I took that to mean these kinds of things, or this, or this, or this, or even something involving this. Okay, here's where I have to rely on my memory of glancing at this website for the short period of time that it was accessible. I think it said there would be 50,000 NFTs of these units and 250 of those digital paintings. So don't quote me on any of these numbers. I could be misremembering, but I think this is what I saw. So I believe it said there would be 50 of each of the five digital paintings. Those five digital paintings I just showed you. The one is a profile pic, so that might just be a piece of the larger digital painting. But I think it's 50 of each of those five digital paintings I just showed you, including the famous one of Charles wearing the VR goggles. The 50,000 units seems like an incredibly high number, but it kind of makes sense given that the one NFT of a unit that we've seen was number 24,974. So that would be approximately halfway through that series. I believe it also said there would be these multiple successive rounds of these NFTs being sold off to people. And the prices were very, very low, maybe compared to some of the NFT launches you've seen. So I believe, and here we're going deep into the seller of the Memory Palace here, but I believe it said the first round would be 5 ADA each. And then the next round, it ramped up pretty quickly. I think the next round might have been 20 ADA each. And they said they're going to release multiple rounds at once. If you can't get into the first round, you can get into the second round or the third round or whatever. So it looks like the prices are pretty low starting out. I believe the text I saw only showed the pricing on like the first four rounds. And I think it went like 5 and then 20, and then it kept going up. It might have gone 5, 10, 20, but I think it was 5 ADA per NFT and then 20. It was unclear to me if that just applied to the units. I'm guessing that's just the units, the little apartment things. There was also information about the number of different variants of the unit NFTs and like how many different types of little Cardano collectibles might exist within each of these units. It was all pretty well laid out. The website looked good. It was very well organized, and I kind of think it was like changing because I believe when I first went into the website, it showed me a different front page then when I refreshed, so I'm not sure if that meant the website was changing as I looked at it, or maybe I went to a different page. I did click on a few different tabs. There were multiple things going on there. There was one section that showed a description of the team. It didn't have bios or people or anything like that, but it said something about the team being composed of, I think, some different types of artists. And it did mention developers, but it didn't go very deep on developers. I think it was, and I mean, this is like one paragraph describing the team. This wasn't a giant bio page or anything. So we don't know what kind of developers. It could be that that reference was just to developers who would help them launch these NFTs. To me, all of that was very consistent with exactly what I think a lot of us were assuming this was going to be, a conventional art NFT launch. The only piece that deviated from that at all was the only piece I got a screenshot of. I would have gotten screenshots of everything if I had any idea they were just going to take it back down. I, of course, thought that was the launch of the website and that information would stay up. But here's what it said. This section said, and this was, I believe, right next. It was on the same page as the team description section, but they had this Our Vision section. It said that their vision is an immersive virtual experience where users can build, customize, trade, and explore their houses, the city, and dive into various virtual activities. So if you're like me, this is kind of exciting. You see this, right? An immersive virtual experience. Want that, where you can build, customize, trade, and explore your house, your apartment. I guess they're talking about the units. You can explore the city and dive into various virtual activities. That all sounds great. Here's the problem. I think any NFT project could say this is their vision. I think any of them, Space Buds, any of them could say, hey, our vision is that one day our NFTs are involved in some kind of immersive virtual experience. I think pretty much any of them can say that. And when I looked around their website, I didn't see any roadmap. I didn't see any plan. I didn't see any description of their dev team that would lead me to believe they have a plan to get there. Granted, I didn't get to check out every nook and cranny of their website. Maybe they do have those things and I just couldn't see them, but I didn't see anything indicating those kinds of planning elements to get to this future. I kind of think this is the same thing that any project could say, any NFT project. Of course, they would all love for their NFTs to be involved in some kind of immersive virtual experience down the road. I think any project any project would want this, and any project could say, our vision is that our NFTs end up in some kind of a metaverse like that. Of course. So at this point, we don't know. This is the weird twist. Everything else is kind of what I expected, except for this little twist. We don't know if there's anything behind this or if this is just an aspiration. And I think either one is fine. Even if this is just their aspiration and they're saying, hey, we're hoping to, sell these NFTs. And then down the road, we're hoping we can somehow work it so that those NFTs are part of some kind of a metaverse, or they use more general language, immersive virtual experience, which could be something short of a metaverse. I think all that's fine if that's their aspiration. But I hope on Sunday when they go to launch this thing, I hope they're clear about what's coming. It looks like they're going to be very clear about what they're selling, but I hope they're very clear about whether or not there's an actual capability to build out this immersive virtual experience or not. Because I hate to say it, but I think a big part of the success of their marketing campaign was people hoping this was going to be a metaverse. I think if they would have said right at the start, hey, this is not going to be a metaverse. These are just NFTs. Don't get the idea we're building out a cyberpunk metaverse. I think there would have been a different level of hype around this project. And half spelling out the word metaverse in the only video trailer I know that they've released, I don't think that exactly dispelled the notion that they were possibly going to launch a metaverse. I'm glad it's now at least somewhat clear what they're actually going to be selling when they finally launch, because we've got really important business going on over the next 10 days. While our little cyberpunk mystery has been intriguing over the last, several days, there's been a bigger mystery brewing for years now. That has been when Cardano smart contract. And now that mystery is all but resolved. The Cardano testnet is now forked to Alonzo. That means we are perfectly on track for a September 12th hard fork combinator event that brings Alonzo and Plutus and smart contracts. We've been waiting for years for this. This has been a question as long as I've known about Cardano, going back years now, literally years. We've all been waiting for this. Super exciting. We're in the last 10 days. I think we all probably kind of feel like Elon Musk watching a SpaceX rocket being staged on the Launchpad. It's like all of the hard work is behind us, and now it's time to enjoy the fruits of our patience and long term planning. Bear in mind, when I say Launchpad, I'm not talking about the markets. The markets are chaos. Since 2013 ish, I've definitely lived through a lot of momentous crypto events that everybody was looking for. And pretty often, the markets did exactly the opposite of what everybody was hoping on those momentous days. When I say Launchpad, I'm talking about a smart contract blockchain that actually works, that isn't broken by ridiculously luxurious fees, that isn't already pre-owned by a bunch of venture capitalists, where you can delegate your stake and not have it forfeited from you forcibly because the stake pool you're a part of made some kind of mistake, like in slashing with some of our competitors. A blockchain where the consensus mechanism is already figured out, where they didn't just default to this like circa 2015 Ethereum conception of what proof of stake should look like, and then decide that they'll just go ahead and sell their token and then figure out the slashing rules later. I'm talking about a smart contract blockchain where they figured that all out ahead of time, where they were working in parallel on things like Hydra. How are they going to scale? Where they were working in parallel on things like Babel fees and stable fees and how to do an algorithmic stable coin that isn't reliant on reserves of fiat. A blockchain where they already know how they're going to do trustless light wallets with zero knowledge proofs. A blockchain where they chose a smart contract programming language that can be formally verifiable. A blockchain where they've already decided how they're going to have an accreditation institution that can certify smart contracts instead of just letting every developer in the world throw them out there and letting the end user figure out which ones are going to get hacked or exploited pretty much when the hack or exploit happens. If you think about an infinite number of possible universes where every single scenario can and does exist in its own universe, I'm not sure how many different scenarios lead us exactly to this type of blockchain. But I know in our case, it was a crazy millionaire who had something to prove, who would soon become a billionaire, who didn't do the thing that makes money on a short timeline or even a medium timeline. He didn't do the thing that would make him a lot of friends in the crypto space. In fact, he kind of did the thing that would make everybody in the crypto space hate him for some reason. But it was that attitude of doing the thing that would make sense in the long term, regardless of short and medium term financial considerations, regardless of what everybody else in the crypto space would think. That's what led to this blockchain in our space. All that work's already done, though. Now, all we've got to do is watch the rocket get staged on the launch pad. Talk to you tomorrow.